I'm working on a theme song. Chill.
Hey guys, I just got back from seeing the Expendables 2 Electric Boogaloo. Okay, this is going to be my review. By now you know the format, and that is spoilers out the ass. Let's dive right in. Okay, so we're starting the movie off. I believe we're in Nepal. It's very desert looking. I don't know a whole lot about Nepal. I believe it's where there's mountains, and it's, yeah, a little bit different looking. But there's this desert, and there's this guy. He's got a bag over his head. He's handcuffed. He's being held hostage, and they're interrogating him, beating him up. He's not saying nothing. Meanwhile, this convoy of badasses goes rolling through the streets in these like makeshift desert storm looking things that says like knock knock on the battering ram that Dolph Lundgren deploys, and then it said like caution, step back or something, or welcome. I don't know. Jason Statham says something too. But anyways, it's the Expendables. They're on their way to the rescue, and regardless, they're shooting the crap out of these fools who can't seem to fire back, and there's CGI blood going all over the streets. It's just like running a river through the place. And you think, okay, well, maybe the bad guys probably should have something like, I don't know, a tank that probably could have held up to some of this bullets, but who knows. So they bust through the joint, rescue the guy, and they lift the bag up over his head, and it's Arnold. And Arnold's like, you ruined my plan. I was here to rescue the Chinese billionaire. And then Stallone's like, yo, no, we're rescuing you. And I'm like, okay, I guess. At this point, you see the thing in the TV ad, like Arnold's like, I'm gonna need a gun. Give me yours. And here's where we kind of start our subtle decline with the movie. Old Spice guy.
Old Spice odor blocker Bi-Wash blocks odor for 16 hours. Oh. Power.
He's like, hey, my big weapon's staying right here. Well, you go ahead and do it. So then Stallone makes him give up his gun. So Terry Crews gives his gun up to Arnold, and right when he does this, he's like, anything happens to my baby, you're terminated. It's like, yeah, none of us in the theater knew Arnold was in the Terminator. Thanks for reminding us. That's the way most of the humor is going to go here. So, buckle up. They take the Chinese guy. They're not treating him like much of a billionaire. I mean, they're like, yeah, get money bags up. Yeah. They hop up on top of the building. Oh, and yeah, a little bit earlier they took out this CGI helicopter. I think maybe some of the crash was real. Like, you see this stunt and you're like, oh, hey, that's kind of cool. They launched a motorcycle at the helicopter. But there's a good amount of CGI helicopters here. And what's something I don't like in my action movies? CGI helicopters. Get a real one. So they climb up on top of the building, knock some more stuff over, shoot whatever guys are left. They make their escape by going down like a zip line, which is probably actually a telephone pole, and there would probably be junctures where they could not actually do this, if you thought about it all. But they're going through here. They're in the desert. They get on the zip line and they are instantly in the forest. And you're thinking, wow, that was a long ride. They're shooting guys. They must have been shooting guys for like the 40 minutes it would have taken them to get to the forest. Stallone and Statham fall down. So this is Lee Christmas and Barney Ross. They fall. The others keep going. Because they're surrounded and stuff, Stallone does this thing where he pretends his finger's a gun and he shoots these guys, and he's like, good shooting, kid. It turns out that Liam Hemsworth, Thor's little bro, Miley Cyrus's fiance, not Miley Cyrus, Lindsay Lohan Dose, he shoots them. And they're like, okay, we gotta catch up with the others, whatever. Meet us at the extraction point. The other guys, they have uncovered some sea-doos and stuff. And they're like going through the river getting chased by guys who also have aquatic vehicles. Meanwhile, Lee Christmas and Barney Ross, they are already in the plane, which now has Christmas decorations on it. Like they're dropping toys for tots or something like this. And I'm thinking, the guys who were behind, they got on the plane. If you're behind, shouldn't the other ones be on the plane and you have to catch up? You are the guys who fell, right? Well, they do this to kind of draw out some more action here. Hemsworth shoots up a whole bunch of guys. His name's Billy the Kid, by the way. Everybody's got like a goofy name. And our boys then get up a ramp onto the plane, which when you look at the plane in any other shot, even when it's a CGI plane, it's tapered at the back in a way that the back comes to a point and there's no room for any kind of cargo ramp. Like, there are a few planes that open with like a vertical door, so the hinge is vertical and they open horizontally, but not like this. So there you have something. I'm kind of glad I took my dad with me because, or I actually made him pay for it and all that, but he spotted this. I probably wouldn't have caught on to that until I saw the plane some more later in the movie. But he's like, yeah, you can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, good call. So that most impossible thing, I don't know if it was the zip line or the plane opening up. But that's your first action sequence. They then head back, and they're at the bar, and I don't know where Mickey Rourke is, but they don't need him no more, because I guess they completed their tattoos. And they're, like, going on about some stuff, and, oh yeah, another thing. Before they got there, Jet Li makes his exit. He's like, peace, I'm out. And Dolph Lundgren's like, who am I going to make fun of? And he's like, another minority. And I'm like, yeah, good one, Jet Li. That was actually one of the better jokes. Now back to on track here. They get to the bar, this bar place. And Lee Christmas is with his wife, who has 3 lines or whatever, soon-to-be wife. And then Dolph Lundgren is like, hey, I got a joke. And they're like, okay, give him a pin. And Stallone's got this pin that's got skulls all over it, and it's like a little nuts. So even his pin is extreme. And then they kind of, this was one of the better things about the characters here was Gunnar, that's Dolph Lundgren, his bio is actually Dolph Lundgren's bio, that he was at MIT, Fulbright Scholar, molecular chemistry, and then he quit to be a bouncer at a club, and he was Grace Jones's bodyguard. They didn't bring in Grace Jones, but I'm like, hey, you know what? That's actually kind of interesting how they made his bio, his character's bio, and a lot of people in the crowd probably wouldn't know. So you enlighten. That, which really wasn't the goal of this movie, but anyways, you may learn something from Expendables 2. Liam Hemsworth, he's like, hey, I'm Billy the Kid. I'm not really feeling it. Can I make this my last month? And Stallone's like, yeah, you gotta do it, you gotta do it. So we know that this guy's doomed. You ain't gonna be leaving the way you think you're gonna be leaving this unit, bro. They go out. Okay, well, Stallone heads off. He's checking out the plane. And Bruce Willis is like in the hangar, in the plane, in the cockpit. And he's like, Barney Ross, you stole $5 million from me. I'm going to put you in the deepest, darkest hole in Gitmo. You will never see the sun. I'm like, when did he steal money? You gave him money to go do this island assault, usurp the dictator thing. They did that. I mean, I watched the movie with my dad just last night, the first one, because I didn't want him being behind on this one, right? So, yeah, I mean, he said, well, there was some money that Eric Roberts had it, and they must have took it. I don't see how that's really a plot point, but okay. I think we're making a convenience story out of here so that the Expendables have something to do with church again. So he sends him out on this mission to recover a safe. There's a plane, a Chinese plane that was shot down over, like, Albania. I don't know why, but the contents of the safe are very important. Bring him back. Oh, and I'm giving you a hot-ass Asian to help you crack the safe and all this. And I'm like, hey, I'm down for it. I'll do it for free, bro. And he's like, you better, because you still owe me. So him and his boys head out. They get out over to this plane. There's a wolf eating some dude there or whatever. They open up the door. And yeah, they've got the Asian gal with her, and she's looking pretty good. They open up the door, and this thing's like sprung. It's got like a hinge that's like trying to shut, and they're like, no, I'm trying to open it. Hey, Old Spice guy, get over here. Terry Crews. Oh, okay, I got this. And then she dives in and is trying to hack the thing, and it might blow up, but she gets it out, pulls the stuff out, and they're like, whoa, good, boom, the thing shuts. You got other guys with you, like Dolph Lundgren's not tiny. Could he maybe help you hold this? Could you jam it with something? You've got guns all over the place. They're precious. You don't want to damage them. Okay, fine. So they've got this. Everything's cool. Liam Neeson's running. Liam Hemsworth, right? He's running point. They're walking ahead, and he's missing. They're like, oh, where'd he go? Well, then some guys jump out of the mist. Jean-Claude Van Damme and his crew, which includes Scott Adkins. And this is just kind of weird. They've got Hemsworth beat up. They're like, okay, drop your guns. And Stallone's like, everybody, you breathe. And at this point, it's like, usually when there's like a standoff, they just shoot everybody anyways, and everybody ends up okay. But instead, they're like, no, he's really going to kill him. We better put the guns down. They'll drop him. So they put the guns down. Bad guys take all their weapons, supposedly. And then Jean-Claude, he's like, so, you believe you have something that belongs to me? And they're like, yeah, okay, fine, give him that box thing. And give him the stuff from the safe. Then they're like, okay, I have a chance to kill you, but I'm going to let you lay down because you're fighting men, and men don't die like sheep. So they face down on the ground. Jean-Claude then like kicks a knife through Liam Hemsworth, Miley Cyrus's bow, kills him, get in their helicopter and head out. And I'm thinking, bruh, you just screwed up because you pissed off the Expendables and you left them alive when you had the chance to kill them. I know how these movies work. You are dead. You killed yourself by not killing these guys when you had the chance. But I kind of like how he gave it a little bit of reasoning. Like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we're similar. Right? I wouldn't want you to do this to me. So yeah, that's kind of okay with me because I'm stupid. So they're like, find him, track him, find him, kill him, something like that. And so yeah, they also give Billy the Kid a burial when they're right next to their plane. Usually, the army goes to great lengths to make sure the bodies get back to the family. And I guess they're like, you know what, we wouldn't really get through customs with this, so sorry. So they give him a crappy burial, and with all these strong guys, all they could do is put rocks over him instead of actually dig him a hole. They're talking to the Chinese girl, and they're like, so what was in that safe? What was that stuff? Oh, just some blueprints to a mine where they can get plutonium and blow up the world. And it's like, oh, okay. So I guess we really got to stick around in Albania where it's cold and bluish looking like some kind of Seagal movie. And so they do that. And the first plan of attack is they go down the road a little bit. After they land a plane on a hillside where they have no possible way of taking off ever again, they head down and they go into a bar. And there's this great big guy there. And before they head in, Stallone's like, yo, we don't bring any guns. And so Statham's like, yeah, we're doing it classics. So they take these brass knuckles, and everybody's got like dual brass knuckle action now. They head to the bar, this big guy's there, and he's got this tattoo over on the neck. It's pretty. Just like Van Damme's and his crew, and they're called Sang, something like that. Oh, and Van Damme, his character's name is Villain. Villain, something like that, but it's spelt villain. Clever. So they rough this guy up, and then Chinese girl walks in with some I don't know, cuticle cutting tools and does something to him, and then I guess that got information from him about what they're doing. All you really got to do is know where the mine is. Like, you knew that was blueprints for the mine. If you knew where the mine was, we know where the bad guys are going to be. I would have handled this scene differently. I think it would have been a lot cooler if they walk in, the guy's imposing, and then the very next shot, everybody's laughing, they're drinking beers, everybody's laughing, he's giving them all the information. Like, they just got him drunk and got the information from him that way. The movie's got such linear thinking in that everybody we come across, we have to kill them. Like, there's other solutions that maybe some variety could have made it a little bit more entertaining. So, this guy, Van Damme and Atkins, their crew is taking, like, all the guys in town, and they are abducting the kids and whatever, all the males, and later on they said they're going to abduct all the women, but they ended up not doing that, but they're digging through this mine rather slowly and seemingly for no reason when they have equipment, like big drills. So, I'm not sure what these guys are doing. It's trying to do some kind of Temple of Doom crap. Like, Temple of Doom, they were looking for something small and specific. Like, hey, dig around in all the rocks. It's got to be here somewhere. They're like looking for a room full of plutonium that was covered up. A little bit different. Like, you ain't going to bang around on some rock and find that. Well, they head out into this little city, which is like some studio backlot looking kind of thing. They get there, and they have a little bit of chat, make fun of the MMA guy Toll Road's ears and stuff, and that was okay. Old Spice had a good dig there. And then next morning, and like, we got all this old music. It's like it's a beautiful morning. So, I mean, playing whatever, and guards are all over the place. They're shooting them up, and then boom, they all get taken out, and their tank gets blown up. And then comes walking down the road is Chuck Norris, or as I like to call him, Cousin Chuck. The theater thought that was real funny because, like, everybody died, and then you see him. Like, you don't even have to see Chuck Norris kill anybody. So he walks up, and it's like, "Oh, I thought you were a lone wolf." And he's like, "Yeah, they say that. I heard you got bit by a cobra." Yeah, it did happen. After 5 agonizing days of pain, the cobra finally died. Boom, everybody erupts in laughter. So they brought over the Chuck Norris lore into this movie, his character Booker. Now that's kind of cool. So then they head out. Well, actually, Statham shows up. It's almost like Batman. Like, Statham and Chuck Norris, they can't coexist in the same place. Like, "Hey, what'd I miss? I'll tell you on the way over." So they end up meeting the villagers. And the villagers are like, "Oh, we're so poor, and we were trying to protect our family and all this." And you end up getting, like, you go from the usual, "I'm a terrorist, we're gonna do some extortion things," to end up making a little bit of a Seven Samurai scenario. So now they feel like they have to protect these people for all of a couple of seconds. Like, there's really very little interaction between the townspeople. It's not secondary, it's like fifthionary. It's like so down the chain of plot, it's ridiculous. Well, they've gone through the mine, they've found the plutonium, they're ready to kill off all the villagers. Van Damme and his crew, they're fleeing the place. And how do the Expendables get in? They decide to crash their plane through the mine to get past the, like, barricade. And they get out perfectly fine, shoot a bunch of dudes, rescue everybody, but they get trapped. And then Lundgren's like, "Don't worry, I'm a chemist, watch." And he says he's making a bomb. Because the place blew up and there's too much rock and they can't get through. And they're like, "Well, we're going to be here a while. But, good thing we got this chemist over here." He tries. It sputters. It's a little bit of a comical moment. Dolph supplied a lot of the comedy here. It's a little strange. Well, then we hear some cracking sounds and there's this big drill coming through. And the the smoke, the dust clears, and who is in the drill? I'm back. You know, so Arnold's there. He rescued the guys, and he's like, now, yeah, I see I owed you or something like this, and so he's like, okay, we got to go get this guy, but I'm not alone, and then pulls up it looked like a G-Class Mercedes. We didn't really get a very good hero shot of this for Bruce making his big entrance as far as the action goes. But he gets out and he's like, okay, we got to get to this airport. Everybody get in the chopper. You know, this is where a line like, get to the chopper, that would have been a good line to use instead of referencing Terminator as a whole like we had to earlier. So they get in the chopper. It's CGI when it lands, but it seems to be real when it's sitting. And they make their own little barricade for Van Damme and his crew as they get to this colossal airport in the middle of nowhere. And airport needs to be used with air quotes because I didn't see any freaking planes. So I don't know what his plan was, but he was getting out on imaginary planes, or maybe using like Wonder Woman's invisible plane. Who knows? They shoot this place up. The guys can't correctly run through the Expendables, but you get what you get. And they crash into the airport, and then we have this big airport shootout, which goes pretty well. I mean, the body count here is in the quadruple digits. It's just like an obscene amount of CGI blood to have to put in with After Effects, I'll tell you that. They're shooting the joint up. Arnold and Willis, they get in the smart car, knock the doors off, they're shooting things, all this. Then Booker, Chuck Norris, I'm just going to call him Chuck, goodness sake. Cousin Chuck shows up. He's shooting guys at rapid succession. Like, they didn't really need the other Expendables. Like, they're all like, I'm going to throw you and all this. I'm going to throw some knives over here. But you don't really need that when Chuck Norris shows up, grabs a guy, uses him as a human shield, walks through airport security, blows up the whole joint, and then throws the guy on the conveyor belt. And the X-ray machine says, oh, he's got a gun, stop him. That was one of the more clever moments. Well, we're whittling through Van Damme's army, which he must have employed a lot of dudes. And they're not that good. They just mostly get shot to shit. Okay, so we're down to like, Atkins has to fight Statham because he made a mockery of him earlier and was like, hey, you have to pick that up and give it to me, politely. And he's like, I'm not doing that. So, yeah, now they got a personal beef. And this was, that whole thing went down when Miley Cyrus was getting killed. And so, they have a bit of a fight. It goes okay. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the fights are much better shot. The lighting makes it more comprehensible. But the DP could not get this movie in focus, or the editor decided to digitally enlarge some scenes to make it look like there was more coverage. Not during the fight so much, but like it'll be like a little thing like hot Asian girls talking to Stallone, and then you get this bigger close-up of Stallone, and in a theater, it's definitely out of focus. There's out of focus shots all over when there's no action. Like, they're just sitting and talking. That should be the easiest time to get the picture in focus, but it isn't. Okay, so back onto the fight here. Long story short, or short story shorter, Atkins gets his head cut off by the tail propeller of a helicopter. So he's dead, I think. Well, we're shooting some more guys up. Stallone then says to Hot Asian, yo, I'm gonna go in there. If I don't come out, you shoot him, you know what I mean? And she's like, I think I understand you. So he goes in. He's looking for Van Damme. He shoots some rounds at nobody. And then Van Damme's like, let's make this more dramatic. So he shoots some lights out, and I'm like, yeah, hey, it does look a little cooler. Thanks. You know, that's a nice touch there. Maybe you should have been DP. At this point, he's like, I'm out of bullets. Now you can kill me like sheep or kill me like a man. And then Stallone's like, he look like a man. So he puts his guns in the holster, which he probably had rounds left. I don't know where they came from, but he probably had them. So they're ready to go and they're fighting. Van Damme does his helicopter kicks. It's like 2 of those, and he's like, hey, are you checking out already over here, old man? So, yeah, Stallone's looking a little beat up. They just fight back and forth. And then it comes to a point where they fall through some things. And then Van Damme has to pull out a knife. And then Stallone, he picks up a chain and uses it like a boa. Like he's Joe Namath. And he's, throwing this chain around. And it messes up Van Damme bad. And then he kicks Van Damme or throws the knife through him or whatever. No, that's not what he boa whipped him and then pulled him towards him like he was Scorpion and then stabbed him. And he's like, his name was Billy. And so now he knows why he died for killing the kid. Not for being a bad guy and doing all these other things. He died because he killed Miley Cyrus. So, yeah, we're pretty much done there. Everybody's wrapping things up. Asian girl's like, hey, I want to join a team. He's like, a bad thing happened, people ain't helping me. So you have to go back to the CIA. So her and Chuck, they're getting up on this helicopter with Bruce and Arnold. And Bruce was like, hey, since I'm a nice guy, I left you a little going away present. So he gave him this old plane, and it's like, that thing belongs in a museum. And I was like, we all do. And that was one of the better lines. So, in summary here, yeah, of course, they take the plane, get out, and then we're playing I just want to celebrate another day of living. Over the credits. Nothing at the very end. It wasn't that good. I could give it 2.5 because as I thought, it made good on some of the promises of the first movie. We actually had Stallone there with Schwarzenegger, with Willis, with Norris in this case, shooting the crap out of guys. There was a lot of good action. The story was kind of messed up, and again, the bad guys need some tokens thrown their way. They need to be able to match up. You can't just say, okay, Jean-Claude, you're taking on all the Expendables. Oh, this Adkins guy hardly anybody knows about. Yeah, you too. Maybe it would have been better if Norris was a bad guy, if Schwarzenegger and Norris turned and were with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I would have thought that was pretty cool. There's no twist. There's no sense of drama or suspense. The Expendables are once again highly unexpendable, and the only way to kill them is when they're new to the gang and want to leave. There were some trailers that played with this. Of the trailers, I gotta say that Bullet in the Head looks like the best of the group, and this is shown after a Schwarzenegger trailer, The Last Stand, which looked freaking bad. The Arnold film clearly has a higher budget. It's even got Forrest Whitaker, but it does not look like a good idea. And Arnold does not look like he still has it. He's got the tight old man eyes, he can't hardly keep his eyes open. He's nowhere near the rigid shape that Stallone's in. So if you had to say between the two of them, those guys being in the same age group, which one could still do some action? Stallone looks like he's ready to roll still. Arnold, I think he's going to have to adopt I need to shoot up like crazy and become get all the veins going, full of all the juices in order to make this work. And he's also going to have to get some plastic surgery because the face is not holding up. Or they could CGI his face onto his body from 1984. That could work too. I mean, this is going to take a little bit more money. Ask Jeff Bridges about that. Yeah, Bullet in the Head looked a little better, but it definitely looked cheaper. I don't see myself seeing any movies on the horizon here. I'm gonna play some video games. I got a new Xbox. I've got a lot of games I have to do. So make sure you check out my Legendary Badass channel where I'm going to be doing the game reviews and all that. Just a lot of things to be doing in the complex movie review stuff, the high production value movie review, no one cared about. There's an art that no one appreciates, involves doing the spoiler-free stuff. No one cared about that, so this is what you get now. And whatever's on the horizon, I don't know. Like, my friend Jamie's got a movie coming out like next week. Maybe I'll go see that, even though there's clearly a CGI bike driven through. I mean, it's a composite green screen shot of Robin going through the oncoming traffic. He makes this turn, and you can tell that there's something fishy about that. But the movie was made like 2 years ago. Or what. I mean, I don't know. I've got a friend in it, whatever. Well, there you go.